Hello everyone, my name is Owain on the Thomas Bros channel, and this is my brother.
Yeah, wait.
So today we are going to be talking about the new Marvel movie, Fantastic Four.
Yes, which has only been out now for 1 day at the time of this recording. So this is your chance, Natalie, before we get into any spoilers.
3, 2, 1, hungry.
Okay, so for me, this was the film of the year that I was excited for the most.
Yes.
For you, was it the same thing?
I think it would be the same thing, yes.
Yeah, so this is MCU's now first time of a Fantastic Four, the first family coming into the MCU.
Yes.
So this is quite a big one, brand new team and new actors in this team. I was really excited for it. The first 20 minutes, I think the best way to do this is probably go in order from beginning to
from
end.
point by point throughout the movie.
So the first 20 minutes, I think, were necessary and crucial because you needed that to set up the origin. Because this is not an origin film.
No, it's not.
Because anyone who's a fan of them would already know.
Yeah.
But they have to cater to the people that don't know who they are and what's happened to them.
Just
and
do
why they
like
have these powers.
a quick recap of their origin and also their history, because obviously you have those things like Mole Man.
Yes.
And to be honest, Mole Man appears later in this film. I didn't think he'd have as big of a role in this as he actually did.
No.
I thought he'd just be a cameo, but he had a bigger role than I thought he would.
Yeah, I thought that cameo at the beginning that they talked about, like all the criminals that they went up against, that would have been it, like the puppet master and all that business. But no, he did have but then again, he was played by a comedian, wasn't he? So
yeah, he was.
Was like that funny comedian sort of sideline character.
But
it
gives you the whole history, and you actually get to see them going up into space with the Excelsior rocket and stuff. And it also
not Mole Man now, the Fantastic Four.
Oh well, yeah, the Fantastic Four, not Mole Man. Yeah. Jesus. But you do get to see in the first scene that Sue is pregnant with Franklin Richards, and obviously Franklin coming into the MCU is quite a big deal, seeing as he's an Omega level mutant and one of the most powerful characters.
There's a lot of rumours getting tied towards that. But I do like the intro of the film because she finds out she's pregnant, tells Reed, and also the rest of the family find out, Ben and Johnny, on their little dinner time that they always have. Which I think is a nice way because obviously the first family, and it kind of keeps the little tradition, always get together, have a little, family little talk and stuff like that. What did you think of Herbie?
I liked Herbie. I thought it was really creative that I think they used an actual robot as a Herbie. I thought that was pretty cool, so that he wasn't just CGI. And same thing goes for things like Galactus, how they actually just put him into an actual practical suit during the end.
Makes it more real though, doesn't it?
Yeah, it makes it more real. But yeah, so I liked how they used a lot more practical things in this movie than I thought they would. But yeah, for the first 20 minutes, you had the whole recap, and you had Sue making the Future Foundation to sort of negotiate with Mole Man, and you get to see all the world leaders sort of agreeing on it, except for the world leader, Latveria, who wasn't present for some reason.
Oh, we did think, well, this is either going to be, as they're already showing this early on, maybe mid or end of the film, or maybe end credits, something like that. But we'll get into that later on, because that's like far and later on stuff. So yeah, Reed picks up a signal.
Yes, he does, while he's trying to check if Franklin has any sort of powers and stuff, because obviously Reed and Sue both have powers, so it's natural that Franklin probably does, but Sue obviously does the whole thing of assuring him that the baby's fine. She even this thing where she actually shows him the baby by making...
Oh yeah, going barely invisible, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so he finds an energy signature, and that leads into the Silver Surfer, doesn't it?
Yes, because the Silver Surfer is not what they don't actually go out into space. It's the Silver Surfer, as you would expect, comes to Earth to mark the planet.
Yes,
what you see in the trailers.
Yeah, that happened around about the time that Reed was arresting all the different criminals, like the puppet master and stuff, which I thought was cool. That
what did he say? He was trying to baby-proof the world,
because make it safer.
He knows he has a child coming, and he's trying to make it as safe as possible. Because, they say it's a different field to him. He's always been, math, science, all that business. So him being a parent is a new form of responsibility.
It was, though, safety was quite the opposite in this film when the Silver Surfer arrived, and she had that whole speech being I herald his beginning, I herald your end, I herald Galactus.
And I thought that was an amazing...
That was, I was on the edge of my seat, oh, you see it?
Yeah. This is big league stuff now with Galactus.
This is the this is like what we've been waiting for. This is a villain that is far, far more powerful than Thanos or any of the other villains.
She has cool abilities. Obviously, you see her straight away going through the helicopter, just transmutating through stuff. Johnny goes after her. Kind of reminds me a bit of the old 2000s Fantastic
when he goes after Silver Surfer, and he does the same thing where he flies into space and puts out Johnny's fire that way. But yeah, and she says something. I can't remember exactly what she says, but it translates
in the language.
It translates in the language to something like not hold your loved ones close, but it was something similar to that. But yeah, they track her energy signatures throughout space and wind up at Galactus' ship.
Yeah, because she threatens them, tells them that, he's going to devour the planet. This is unlike a villain they've ever faced before, not some common villain like Puppet Master or Mole Man, whatever. But this is like an intergalactic, villain, that space god that can literally devour a planet. So to actually get some truth behind this, they've seen the patterns of her course through space, and that she's gone through planets where used to be planets, now are nothing more but rubble and asteroids and meteors and stuff like that have all come away.
Yeah, and you get to see Galactus actually destroy a planet with his ship, which sort of works like a drill. I am a bit sad that we didn't actually get to see the proper feeding process, because all you see is sort of, I guess, the ship going through a planet and destroying it.
I think they try to keep it kind of practical with that, because when they do find out where the next course the planet is going to go to, they go into space again and promise everybody they're going to keep them safe, which is a big thing, when you've put your word there to the world, we will
protect you
from this Galactus, and then they go there. I did like the technology they used. I mean, they're keeping with the retro 60 vibe. You know, what they used, the spaceship, and like the hypergate that they nestled into that actually caused them to go. Because obviously we've seen things like the Milano and stuff like that go into like hyper launch and stuff like that. But seeing like their version of it was kind of cool.
Yeah, I think that was pretty cool. How it sort of like docked in and then just went like whoosh.
They do keep with the comedy of this as well. Like a family, they still bicker. It's like especially Johnny and Ben.
Yeah, but they do have I don't think they bicker as much as they did in like the Ioan Gruffudd movies.
No, I would say actually I was kind of surprised at Johnny in a good way though, because he was a lot more. I guess more sensible in this than he was in the.
He's a lot more mature, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Like he was still the sort of I guess sort of womanizer sort of.
I wouldn't even say that. He liked the Silver Surfer, but that was about it, Do you mean the 2000s or this one?
I mean, for this one.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't.
He still had the core of that one from the 2000s, but they toned it down more and made him, I guess, more down to earth.
Yeah, I was going to say, just far less than when Chris Evans did it back in the 2000s.
He's a bit more...
Far less.
I would still say that he does have an ego, but just not as much of a one.
Yeah, but he does like to play the jokes like he does with Ben and stuff like that.
Johnny...
What does this say? Clobbering time. And he keeps trying to bait him to saying it like, oh, what time is it? It's dinner time. Come on. And it's like, yeah, you're not going to get me with that. Because the cartoons, which I kind of showed in this as well, what it's clobbering time in the cartoons that they do have there, and I thought that's kind of funny.
May I just say that I love it when May I just say that I love it when Johnny speaks in the third person.
Oh yes, but that's when he talks about the Silver Surfer. What she said to him in space.
I think that dynamic was quite funny. But yeah, they go into Galactus' ship, and obviously the Silver Surfer leads them to Galactus sitting on his sort of throne. And you get to see his eyes glow, and he sounds amazing.
Yeah, when you were talking about the drill before, I'm only on about a practical effect, because I think like a drill, because you could see it as she was leading them towards Galactus. You have to remember as well, he was probably going to destroy them when they got to the ship. But when he used his scanner and he scanned Sue, and saw that she was pregnant and what she was carrying, the power potential there, that's when he invited them. But as they were going through the ship, you could see it churning, all the rubble from the planet and stuff that he's just gone through, and you're probably using up all the energy. And obviously you see the cables behind Galactus, that's how all that energy is probably fed.
I guess so,
his ship is feeding him.
Yeah, because Johnny does because when they do run away from Galactus, he breaks those sort of pipes, and you've got all the sort of magma that pours out onto him. So yeah, I guess that's it. Sort of as it's drilling through the planet, absorbs it, and then it goes into the pipes. But you never get to see that in detail. But yeah, I loved how Galactus sounded. What's it,
Ralph Ineson, yeah.
Yeah, he did an amazing job.
Fantastic job. Like literally, as soon as I was waiting for it, like that first line and stuff. As soon as he started speaking, I was like, oh my gosh, proper proper god. Like Thor's a god, but Galactus is like a real god.
A real god, yeah.
Yeah, and like the whole room could have like been shaking at the time, and I was thinking to myself, dear God, this is so cool.
But yeah, he asks for, well, what am I saying? Asks. He tries to take Franklin.
He tells them, because they went out to at least negotiate first and find out, what he actually wants. Obviously, he's going to go to Earth to consume it for his, because, the devourer, he's always hungry. However, he recognizes that Franklin, even though he's still in Sue, has the potential to basically consume his hunger away from him, take that.
Yeah, so pass down the mantle in a way.
Yeah.
Which sort of makes me feel like, it's not in the comics, but it sort of makes me feel like in the MCU, the mantle of being Galactus is sort of a curse that's passed down, maybe from like each incarnation.
He can't really do anything he wants to actually do. That's the thing. At the end of the day, he's not a bad guy in the sense of, I'm doing this because I like hurting people and stuff. He's doing it to survive.
Yeah, he's doing it because he needs to survive, and he's doing it because he has to, because every time he eats a planet and gains energy, when the multiverse dies, whether it's because of an incursion or whatever, he has to use that energy to remake the multiverse, sort of rebirth it, start it up again. So really, he's just a tool in this constant cycle of death and rebirth for the multiverse. He can never live an actual life, which is why he wants to pass down the mantle to Franklin, because with the power that he has, he can certainly handle it.
Yeah.
But obviously, they don't want to give him up, so he tries to take him by accelerating, obviously, Sue to make it so she's just giving birth to him right then and there. And they have to go into the ship, and I like their plan, how they lure the Silver Surfer into a black hole.
Yeah, that was kind of cool, because Reed picked it up on the sensors, because they were trying to do everything. They tried to go on hyper launch, thinking, we can outrun her. No, she's that fast. Because obviously she's got a scout planet for Galactus, and tell him this is the place that you can feed to next. So she's going to be that fast.
But I like their whole plan of luring her into a black hole and then flying away by making it all go invisible, so she's stuck in there for enough time for them to try and figure out what to do. And that leads into the press conference scene where they're all talking, and they're like, the press like, are we safe? How did you beat Galactus? And they're like, I don't know, we didn't beat Galactus or anything like that.
And you really start to see them turn then,
yeah,
what
like
the
you
human
see
race is really like when they're backed up in against the corner.
And you see, like, on the news, like, people making a Galactus cult and stuff, and it's like, wow, okay then. And honestly, throughout this entire time, I was thinking, what's Doom doing throughout this entire time?
Well, let's be honest, we're not focusing on Doom though.
No,
that's the thing.
no.
We're focusing on Galactus and his power.
But
and what he is capable of doing.
I loved it when you got to see him get closer and closer to Earth, saying his planet's now past Jupiter, it's past Mars, past the moon, and just seeing all that throughout the months as they try to teleport Earth away from Galactus.
Well, yeah, because the thing is, right, there's a lot of things you missed out on, because obviously, he was born on the spacecraft before they got back down to Earth, because, everyone was, happy and cheering, and obviously, they told him the news, he wanted the child, they didn't, and obviously everyone starts to turn, it's like, well, we not worth it then, Ben's only shopping on the street, and, we've got families too, and stuff, it's like, yeah, you're really seeing the dark turn now, they're all nice and stuff like that when you're the heroes, but as soon as you do one thing that they don't like, then they just start turning against you. When
it's kind of like what the Green Goblin said to Spider-Man.
It's like, the thing is, even Reed has to calculate every possibility, every outcome, that's how his mind works. And, Sue did say that, you were already thinking about, handing over our sons. You see that strife between them as well, quite a few times in this film.
Which I suppose is that dynamic, obviously. Reed being who he is, he has to think of the worst outcome and he has to try and, sort it out, even if it means doing something like that. Which, again, is sort of where he parallels with Victor, because Victor sort of will do what is necessary, and you see Reed go down that path sometimes. It's how he ends up becoming things like the Maker.
Yeah.
But yeah, Sue gives that speech to all the rioters, though.
It calms them down. Yeah, because she did say, and I think it was really nice, I will not sacrifice my child for this world, but I will not sacrifice this world for my child, because we will stay here with you, stand together.
As a family.
Yeah.
And I really like that speech. That was a really good speech.
Yeah, because we're not abandoning you. We're just simply saying we're not going to sacrifice our son, which I think is perfectly within their rights and perfectly right to say so.
And that's what gives Reed the idea to teleport Earth away using that teleportation device he tried to...
I thought that might be the idea, because you see in the trailers and stuff those pylons that go like shooting up, and I thought that could be a thing that they could potentially do. But obviously the world coming together like never before to try and set up all these pylons in the world to teleport the planet away to another system.
And just as it's about to teleport away, the Silver Surfer comes and sabotages all of it. And that's when obviously Johnny plays the whole recordings of all the different worlds she's helped Galactus kill. And you find out about her origin, which is basically like Norrin Radd's.
Yeah, she is Shalla-Bal, and Galactus went to take her world, except she made the deal of, I will scout these worlds for you, making sure it saves you far less time. You know where you're going, as long as you spare my world. Which is really ultimately that sacrifice. But she still feels guilty, because obviously she's still taken to all the worlds.
Yeah, and you get to hear just like all the screams and stuff. And that's sort of what gives her the change of heart and lets her basically be like, yeah, you can sort of keep on living, but I can't really help you with fighting Galactus. And then that's when, since that plan's failed, they come up with the idea of trying to, and it reminded me of Earth's Mightiest Heroes, trying to send Galactus away using the last sort of teleportation device that they had, send him to the edge of the universe to just send him away for a while they try and think of how to sort everything out.
Yeah, because she leaves. I mean, because I think we skipped a little bit ahead here, because we have to talk about the trap and what they were going to try and do to get Galactus to Earth and have to use Franklin.
Oh, yeah, with Franklin. They were going to use Franklin as bait to try and get him into that trap. Yeah. Which, obviously, is very, very risky to do, seeing as that's what he wants.
Yeah.
And it almost fails. There's quite a lot of times where they almost fail throughout this entire movie.
You really get to see, though, the sheer scale of size that he is when he jumps out of his ship.
Yeah, I love that.
The side of New York. So as soon as he lands, he causes like a massive tsunami wave over like New York because of the sheer size and the weight that he brings down.
I love, though, how they actually put him in the actor in a suit and had him go through a miniature New York City. I think that was really cool to add that sort of practicality to it. But no, so they try to lure him into the trap. Obviously, they have Mole Man that's brought all the citizens of New York down to Subterranea. Yeah. And that plan fails because Galactus is like, nope, I'm not going to fall for that. And he goes to the Baxter building where Franklin actually is.
And that's where you get that one of the first scenes you ever see Galactus in a trailer. And that's his eyes at the window to the Baxter building. And Herbie, trying to be like, I'll defend you. And it's like, oh, but,
Yeah,
so.
and I just loved when the shutters closed and it's like, what's going to happen? And then his arm bursts through and grabs Franklin.
Yeah, it's like shutting the door on like a riot or something. It's like they just burst right through.
And you know what? When he grabbed Franklin and he said, I can't remember what he said, but it was something like time to feed.
You'll be the end of my cosmic hunger. Like
yeah,
that sort of thing.
And then he said something after that saying time to feed. And I thought he was going to give Franklin his power and make Franklin eat Earth. And I thought that would be really dark to just have Franklin eat Earth. Luckily, that didn't happen because Sue just...
Yeah, because you have to remember, before we got there, though, they obviously tried to do their best to attacking him.
Oh, yeah.
We tried, failed. In fact, he had that six scene where he tried to stretch him out as much as he could. And, the thing, trying to do his best, throw things at him, like the cranes and stuff like that. He's like, that's nothing. Johnny burning him, trying to incinerate him. Nothing.
Yeah, the fire even got onto his skin and everything, and he was just like...
What was cool, was a good combination of their powers, was Sue creating like an invisible barrier, so what Galactus was looking at to the side was nothing. It was just exactly the same as it was before. But on the other side of it was Johnny casting his fire onto his eyes to blind him for a few seconds.
Yeah.
Which I thought that's kind of a cool way of combining powers through this invisible barrier. So what you're looking at through here is exactly the same, but on the other side, Johnny's just there casting fire, and it's too late before you react to it because it's that close to your face. So I thought it was a cool little thing that they added in. But they all go down easily.
Yeah, he's not even trying.
He's just walking and they're going down.
That's the thing, though. It's like, even though, obviously, by the end of this, Galactus is beaten, even though I was a bit upset about that, I can look past it, seeing as he wasn't even really trying. I mean, you saw, if he was really trying to fight them, he would actually be fighting, but he wasn't. He was just walking past them.
Yeah, all he cares about is Franklin. He wasn't focusing in on them. He even called them clever bugs.
He only really focused on them by the time they actually got him through the portal. And by that point, it was too late to actually fight.
Yeah, because the thing is that you even see that scene where Johnny carries Ben down. He's like, say the thing, say it. And he does finally say it, but it's like that one moment where
it's clobbering time. He punches him.
Throwing him. Well, he doesn't punch him. He throws him so he's used it like a massive boulder in a way to go like that and bang straight to the face. But it takes Sue's ultimate willpower, and we know she's the strongest one out of the four with all her powers and stuff. So it takes all of her effort, all of her strength, especially when she knows her son is now being taken away from her, to muster up his power to basically not really stop Galactus, but push him back into the portal.
So that plan actually works. And it works for all about 3 seconds, because she does get him through the portal until he comes back through the portal, and Johnny's about to make the sacrifice play, but the Silver Surfer comes in last minute and sort of uses her power to push him through, actually get him through before the portal closes.
Yeah.
And presumably, both her and Galactus are now on the edge of that universe.
Well, we don't know for sure. I mean, it was a lot more of a struggle as well, because he was holding on to buildings and stuff like that, holding the force. And Ben, because the rest of them had to do stuff as well. Ben had to collapse the building down, so he had nothing to hold on to. Johnny also using his power as well, and Reed going up to try and save Franklin before he went through that portal. Otherwise he would have taken him.
Yeah, they all played a part in trying to beat Galactus.
Yeah, because all she could do is try and push him back. The rest of them had to contribute as well in order to get him through. So as you say, all for 3 seconds, as Johnny is about to make that ultimate sacrifice to just sacrifice himself to try and get him through that portal.
Yeah.
It's Silver Surfer with her cosmic power that does it. I can respect them all because obviously she's got more power than them to do that. She was given that power by Galactus,
So it's sort of using a fraction of his power against him in a way.
It does remind me, we both said it, didn't we, on the way back home? It reminds us a lot of Avengers World's Mightiest Heroes, the last episode they ever did. Because it took everybody to not even beat him.
Just send him away.
Just send him away to another place, because we have not got
advanced enough to actually beat
the power, the technology, the people to deal with this. So all we can do is just send him away and hope to God he never finds us again. And that's really it. And, I say it took Silver Surfer to push him in that last final edge before the portal collapsed. Now, we talked about this a few times about, how do we take this now? Where's he gone? And also, his ship is still...
It's still in orbit, because he went off the ship, so it hasn't gone with him. It's still in orbit around
That's never explained. But to us, looking at it, he jumped off the ship to land, next to New York and all that stuff to get Franklin. We never see it again. And, he gets teleported. His ship doesn't get teleported. At least we don't get told that. So it's a case of what's happened. Does it, auto-track forwards for Galactus, so it's now slowly going back out to someone else? Are they taking it for their science and technology to add to their own? What's actually happened?
I think that Doom took it, because obviously with everything that's going to happen in Doomsday, multiple universes, Fox Universe, 616, Fantastic Four, Doom's got to get around to all these universes. So I think he took Galactus' ship and he's going to use that to go from universe to universe. Because at least I think we're meant to believe that Galactus can go from universe to universe.
Yeah, I think the ship to him is not really essential. It's just what he needs to feed on planets. He can get around wherever he wants. But obviously, I imagine at this moment in time, he's really upset, angry at Silver Surfer for betraying him. I don't know what's going to happen to her. They either take her powers, or God knows, we're probably not going to find out until after. Well, we won't.
Yeah, until after Secret Wars
and stuff. But no, I think Ralph Ineson was
Amazing as
fantastic at the
Galactus,
role.
way better than the Cloud.
So was the Silver Surfer. To be honest, they were all really
They
great.
were all really good.
Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards, Ebba Moss as Ben Grimm, Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm, and Joseph Quinn as Johnny Storm. So I thought they were all fantastic. Ben, he nailed it. Vanessa nailed it as well for Sue, and Johnny, I was really surprised because
He's just a lot more humble in this movie.
you know, he's the one who talked back the language to the Silver Surfer and stuff like that. You know, he's become a lot more. I won't say smart because obviously you got Reed in there, so I won't say smart.
Yeah.
But as you said before, he's a lot more mature.
They still have the core of the character, again, the sort of womanizer, egotistical, but he's a lot more toned down than he was.
I still like the jokes they had in there. And Reed as well, you know, I liked him. I like Pedro Pascal's Reed as well, which I didn't actually know at first how I was going to respond to it, but it actually turned out really great.
Yeah.
I think kind of added quite a lot of character to him.
But then you have, obviously, Sue died for like a couple minutes.
Yes, because she took all her strength just to get Galactus
through. So everyone thinks that she's died, and then obviously they put Franklin on her, and Franklin brings her back to life.
Yeah.
Which obviously, that's good. Otherwise, you know, it would be the Fantastic Three.
Yeah, they do make a joke about that later on, and then the Ted Gilligan.
Oh yeah, when they give.
Five.
Yeah, because they give. Yeah.
But no, it's like you get to see like the very first. You know, I don't know how many times passed between him being born and that scene, because obviously it has been like a month or so.
I think it's
building all the pylons around the world and stuff, but he's already slightly showed the signs of that power.
I think it's probably been about, I want to say 3 or 4 months, but it's probably less than that.
So the CGI was a little bit off, though, admittedly, because we did talk about it, like Franklin, you know, when he was born and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, when Franklin was, like, actually born.
Yeah.
The CGI was a bit...
So only little bits like that. But I can't complain about any of the actors. They all performed amazingly. And I really like the setting as well, because it literally is the family, and you get a lot of that. You know, there's a lot of funny jokes and, you know, quirks and stuff that they have, you know. I do like the bit where Johnny's like, what time is it, with the toy inside the cereal? It's clobbering time, it's clobbering time. It's dinner time, and it's like, you know, let's go. And Herbie setting up baby proof in the house, and, you know, Ben's just like reading something, he trips over and falls down the stairs, like, Herbie! And then Johnny coming back and obviously dousing him down because of the fire hazard. Yeah. He's like, Herbie! But no, it's funny. And I do like their family as the Fantastic Four. Kind of funny, actually, at the end as well. And I already know this from, I remember you, actually, because me and Mam were talking about
it. Yeah, with the baby seat.
The baby seat, yeah. Like Reed, Ben, and Johnny were there trying to get a baby seat strapped down into a car using the seatbelt. It's like, no, you're going to do it like this. No, I'm giving it slack. And it's like, yeah, well, clearly not enough. It's like, I can't know. Then he kept rejecting it, and Sue was just there like, Jesus. It's like you got all these people, including Reed, the smartest man in the world, they can't get a baby seat locked perfectly safe.
But I suppose that leads us now to the end credit scene.
Yes, so you had one animated one, which was the end credit scene, which was just kind of funny. I thought they were going to do the intro of the 90s.
I thought they were going to show where Galactus was, but I suppose that was me wishing for a bit too much.
Yeah.
Again, I think we'll only find that out.
The more serious one was the mid-credit scene.
Yes.
Which was 4 years later, just like the just like the Thunderbolts, 4 years later in their credit scene, except they're still in their own universe. And Sue is talking to Franklin, who's now obviously 4. She goes out, I think, to get another book. And as she comes back, who, lo and behold, is waiting right next beside her?
Dr. Doom!
Don't actually see Robert Downey Jr.
Well, no,
probably,
but you see...
Oh, yeah, I know that. You see the dark green cloak
and you see even... And his mask as well, mask.
I'm wondering, though, right, is in that scene specifically... Has a bit of Doomsday already happened and he's gone there? Because we did talk about if he's already marked his face or something like that.
Yeah, because there's that rumour that Doomsday might end, or at some point Doomsday is going to get into a fight with the X-Men or Avengers or Fantastic Four, and the battle's going to scar his face, and that's how he gets the scar, and that's why he puts on the mask. And I quite like that interpretation. I'm not entirely sure. I hope they do that, but I don't think that this is after that.
We don't actually know if he knows what's about to happen when the universe is collapsing.
No, but I wager to guess that he does.
He probably does, because he is really smart. And the thing is, has he already figured out about Loki and looking at all the multiverses? Clearly he knows a lot about Franklin being there right next to him, realizing what kind of
He clearly has some sort of understanding on what Franklin's power is. Otherwise, why would he
to reset everything to make
Battle World and give him the God Emperor Doom powers? Because if he didn't, otherwise, why would he be just?
Because I get the feeling at the end of it all, everyone's going to have to try and save Franklin from him.
Yeah, but even from just a little bit that we got of him, he looked amazing. The mask looked really good. It was far more akin to what RDJ had at Comic-Con than I thought it would be. And he just looks a lot more simplistic, which I liked, that they didn't have all the lines or overcomplicated so much. They just kept it you haven't seen it, but from the little bit that you did see, it looked extremely comic book accurate and just not overcomplicated with all different lines and stuff. Like the Fantastic Four's suit, it was just, comic book accurate.
Yeah.
But yeah, from there, I don't really know where it will go. I'm thinking that Doomsday might open right then, and like how Infinity War opened with Thanos destroying Asgard, it'll open with Doom for some reason destroying the Fantastic Four's world. But obviously now, we just have to wait till Doomsday, because that's the next movie that's coming out.
Yeah. I thought this film was really great. I can't believe we've got to wait actually a year and a half until Doomsday, to be honest.
And Spider-Man 4, but I don't think that'll lead anything with Doomsday.
There'll be a little nod towards
maybe
it.
like an end credits scene, but
because I think that's more on the Daredevil, Punisher side of things right now, street level stuff. Then have little nods to what's going to happen with Secret Wars maybe later on. As for Fantastic Four, though, Doomsday. I'm surprised at the ending, because we both thought the planet was going to get destroyed by Galactus.
Yes, and the fact that it didn't was surprising. When we just came out of the cinema, I was a bit disappointed, but now I think in hindsight, it's probably a good idea, because then Doom could do something to it that'll show off his power, and Galactus isn't dead, so it's not a waste of him.
Now, at the end of the Thunderbolts mid-credit scene, end-credit scene,
it's probably them getting away from Doom.
Or escaping the universe before it collapses, because they know they really cannot do anything about it, because it's
just really impossible to force nature. But
it's gonna be cool to see what happens next, though. I really enjoyed the film.
What would you rate it?
I was just going to say the same thing to you. I'm going to rate this, a 9 out of 10, because the only things that let it down were like the little bits of CGI and stuff like that. We're not going to talk about too much. And obviously, the ship not really getting explained. And I guess a little bit, yes, I get, like you just said, we thought that the planet was going to get destroyed to sort of assert his power and dominance. But those are like the only little things.
Yeah, I really think that last part is just going to be shifted from Galactus to Doom and Doomsday. I really think that's... And in any case, since Galactus isn't dead, they can bring him back later and just do that with him, but to another planet or universe or whatever. I would rate this an 8.9 to a 9 out of 10. Because I think, again, initially...
Very specific.
Initially coming out of the cinema, I wasn't too pleased with the ending, but I think now that I've talked about it and sort of like really grown on me, that ending, so yeah, I would have to probably agree with you around about 8.9 to 9 out of 10.
Okay then.
So
I'm excited to see what happens next, though. Oh yeah,
we got this poster as well when we entered the cinema. So yeah, that's pretty cool. But yeah,
because they did have no popcorn buckets. To be honest, I think it was we weren't really thinking the Galactus popcorn snack bucket that was.
Oh no, because that would be sold out immediately.
Yeah, exactly. It was massive, and I think we all knew we were going to get that. But we did see other merch, that was supposed to be advertised, but we didn't see any there. To be honest, either they all sold out, or actually no. I remember now the cinema we went to didn't actually buy any of the merch.
Oh, that's a shame.
But no, I absolutely enjoyed it. Solid film. Can't wait to see what happens with this family going forward. And yeah, I'm really excited.
So, with that being said, I've been OI on the Thomas Blues channel, and this is my brother.
There we.
And we will see you all in the next video. Ta-da!
Bye-bye.